Hi, it's Anish. Welcome to the garden. So it's fall, but it's also time to think about spring. And so with that, we're going to talk about planting garlic today because garlic likes to be planted in the fall and it's ready one of the first crops that come out in the spring. So the first thing we're going to talk about is prepping the bed. Now, as you can see here, and you might recognize this was the pumpkin patch here. So I took all the pumpkin stuff away, and the reason I picked this bed is because it's south facing, so it gets a bit of sun, and it's sheltered from the winter wind. So in our parts of the world here, it can get as cold as minus 40 degrees Celsius, so that's pretty cold. So you want to be able to have the garlic in a spot that, as the days are getting shorter and the sunlight is scarce, there's still the amount of sun that it can get a few hours a day, so it can when the springtime comes, it can start to germinate. So you can probably see here the soil is very loose and rich, and there's a reason for that. As the garlic bulb is developing, you don't want the soil to be compacting and squishing the garlic, right? So you want organic matter in there and a rich soil. So once you got that in there, you're gonna take your shovel. I like using a shovel because there's a measuring there. You want it deep enough that it actually protects from the winter cold, right? And it gets pretty cold. So I figure about 10 centimeters or about 4 inches. So I have a handy shovel here that has the markings. So you just sort of go into the ground, and I've already dug some holes here. You basically dig it down like that, and you just sort of make a planting holes along the way. So about few inches apart. So next thing you're going to think about is what kind of garlic to plant. So in our climate, I'll show you up here, hardneck. And the reason they're called hardneck is because this neck here is hard. You can't really twist it, right? So the hardneck varieties are well adapted to winter conditions. So you want to get the hardneck variety. And I'll caution one thing. Do not go to the grocery store and try and plant garlic that you got from the store, because goodness only knows where they've come from, and if they're not for the right zone, they won't grow. So you're gonna get your garlic and just break apart. Oh, that's kind of tough here. So you're just gonna break it apart, and just be careful not to damage the paper skin that's out there, right? So this actually helps protect the garlic. And so two things you're going to notice. So let me break this all apart here. So it's all broken apart, and you want to pick garlic that is big. And in this case, size matters. So you don't want to be planting this. You want to be planting this big one. So go ahead. The pointy side goes up, and you're just gonna put the one that where the roots are gonna come down here like this down. So you just sort of put them into the soil. And I've also thrown in the wholesome bone meal, right, to help promote root growth. So you can sprinkle a few of that in there already. And then just grab your gloves and you just close them up. So these garlics are sitting about, 3 to 4 inches underneath the soil, so that when the winter weather comes, they're still well protected. Now, the other thing is there's a little bit of a debate about whether you should water the garlic or not. Now, because we've had not a drop of rain for many, many weeks and the soil is very, very dry, you do want to give it a little bit of moisture so that as the garlic is settling into hibernate, it has the water and the resources it needs to just sort of prepare itself for hibernation. I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little water along the way, just so that it moistens that soil. And I also checked the forecast. There's no rain expected for the next week or so, so this soil will sort of get absorbed and dry out. So because you don't want a lot of moisture sitting at the bottom, you'll rot the garlic. So the other thing you're going to do is mulch. So this helps protect the garlic, because sometimes what can happen is a warm spell in the winter, and you don't want the garlic to start growing, say in February, right? So this helps keep the cold in. So we'll just sort of do that. And there. So we got our garlic set. Got our garlic set for the fall, and hopefully, I hope to have. I planted about, 70 bulbs in here, so I'm hoping I'd get, or 70 cloves. Hopefully, I'll get 70 bulbs in late June.